Now, page 4. 2 essential personnel under horrible personal assault for standing up for the Constitution. These are very revealing times, ladies and gentlemen, very revealing indeed. I've always said that during stressful times is when people are strained and under duress, that's when their true character is exposed. And now is one of those times. President Trump is a great example of this. Donald Trump is managing this Wuhan coronavirus extremely well. He is using a combination of so-called expert advice, which is questionable, from the Scientific Brain Trust, aka the CDC, along with a healthy dose of the president's gut instincts. Ultimately, what this means is that the president is standing up for the Constitution. He's not ordering businesses to close. No, that would be mostly blue state governors. The president is not issuing these draconian stay-at-home orders. That would be Newsom, Cuomo, Garcetti, Pritzker, and de Blasio. President Trump is attempting to stand up to this virus while standing up for the free market economy, which is being trashed right now. And it ain't easy. Despite the president suffering withering attack, his character remains resolute and his overarching goal of doing what is best for we the people remains. This despite the mainstream media constantly and endlessly assaulting and twisting virtually everything the 45th president says and does. And the attacks on social media are vile, personal, and threatening. I should know. Yours truly is taking similar incoming from our fellow Americans who launch the meanest, ugliest, personally threatening attacks you could imagine. In fact, you probably can't imagine. I'm being told by these people that they hope I die from the Wuhan coronavirus. Others are even more graphic and more specific in how they would like to see me killed. Very graphic. And if not death to me, they are wishing harm to my friends and to my family. They make fun of my looks and my career and my personal life. It's astounding. And for what? What have I done to deserve this? Why, yeah, I'm guilty of standing up for the founding document and the President of the United States. Yep, guilty as charged. Yes, I am questioning the authority of blue state governors to order businesses closed and people placed under self-imposed house arrest. Yes, I'm running the corona numbers, crunching them constantly, and I'm studying them. Yes, I'm using rational thinking and reasonable deduction to conclude that the government response to the Wuhan coronavirus is not commensurate with the outbreak. Yes, I'm connecting the nefarious partisan dots behind the draconian shutdown orders of these blue state and blue city elected officials and coming to the reasonable conclusion that their actions are politically motivated. And yes, I'm not afraid to let the American people know when their constitutional rights are under attack. And for this, I receive death threats, just like the president. Well, neither of us will be silenced. Donald Trump and I are just a couple of guys who happen to care about America and who are attempting to do what is best for the American people while protecting our God-given rights. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. Just a couple of so-called essential personnel under vicious, vile, and vitriolic assault for the incredible crime of standing up for the United States Constitution. And many of these attacks that the president and I are enduring right now come from the radical left, whose leader is a Marxist socialist. You know him. His name is Bernie Sanders.
According to the experts, will end up taking the lives of hundreds of thousands of Americans and infecting millions of Americans.
Stop tape. All right. So here you have a guy, remember, his background is Marxist socialism. And so he is of the vein of Barack Obama and Rahm Emanuel and Karl Marx and the rest of them. Saul Alinsky, who knows that you can never let a good crisis go to waste. And so he comes out here in a video like this with glee and talks about the hundreds of thousands of Americans who are going to die by a flawed model, by the way. The hundreds of thousands at the rate we are going right now is going to be a flat out wrong prediction, unless there is some kind of major surge. And again, where's the timeline on this? Hundreds of thousands during this season? The cold and flu season starts in what? October, November, and it ends in May, June? You're not going to see those kinds of numbers. Yet you have a Bernie Sanders, the guy who wants to be president of the United States, coming out and flaunting those wrong numbers. As far as the number of confirmed cases, here's the reality that doctors on the ground, physicians on the ground will tell you, that they have been testing for the flu this season since October, right? And when they test, they're getting positive for the flu of about 80, 90%. But back in October, November, December, that 10, 20% of these people who were coming to see them that had flu-like symptoms, but it wasn't the flu, what was that? What do you think that was? Likely X percent, maybe the entire percent of that 10, 20%. Was the Wuhan coronavirus. We didn't know it. It was already on our shores. In other words, we were dealing with this back then more than likely. The likelihood of the aggregate number of cases, and we've got to go back in time. We've got to be able to have doctors test people who, just in the regular course of doing business, and we've got to get the data and find out if these people had the Wuhan coronavirus way back in December or way back in November. There are people, I know you know people, who have come to you and said, I had those symptoms back in November of 2019 or December 2019 or January of 2020. I had those symptoms, but we didn't know what it was. But they survived. Here's the point. The point is, the aggregate number of Americans who have probably suffered through the Wuhan coronavirus, whether they knew it or not, is way more than the official number that's out there right now, which is less than 500,000 testing positive in this country. It's probably in the millions. And then when you do the math, that is the denominator. When you put the number of dead at the top, which is not in the millions, not in the hundreds of thousands, barely into 10,000 at this point. When you do that math, that's going to drop the mortality rate way, way down to probably levels right around the seasonal flu. But you will never hear this kind of rational thinking, this kind of rational number crunching from a radical who wants to be president of the United States like Bernie Sanders. He is out there stirring the pot because he knows it helps his cause, it helps his agenda, and potentially hurts the 45th president of the United States. So here's what I struggle with. What does the backside of this look like? How does government release its stranglehold on the economy and our constitutional rights? When does that happen? When does this dependence on government to work and to play and to function as a free person fully end? And maybe most importantly, what God-given rights born to me as an American will I lose forever because of the government response to the Wuhan coronavirus?
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.